Hello, soulmates, and welcome to Candid Conversations TV with DocV. I'm Dr. Virginia LeBlanc Shazad, the Pivot Maestro and heart surgeon for your soul, leading you to freedom, peace, and joy in life and business. I am so excited you guys are here today. And for my follow-on conversation with Jennifer Conaway, guys, it's going to be fire, I already know. At Defining Paths International, folks, you are our why and our motivation. We are all about helping you think without the boxes, and lifting you into that possibility mindset to serve, profit, and sustain. So we are here to help you navigate those rough waters, put you back in business as we rise together. That's what it's all about, rising together through truth, transparency, and love. So at Candid Conversations, it's where we engage in real talk with our Define Your Path podcast guests. We've already told you who's our guest today. And about real experiences, their personal journeys and the intersection of life and business. So truth and real talk is the norm without exception, so that we can help you heal, rebuild, and transform from the inside out. And that's what's important. That's what's key, inside out transformation. So all are welcome to the show. You never know what you're going to get, but we guarantee it will always be love, light, and life for your soul. So without further ado, we are bringing back Define Your Path podcast spotlight guest Jennifer Conaway. Jennifer, welcome back and welcome to Candid Conversations TV show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to share some time with you. You're such a good chat.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And audience, if you have not listened to or watched Jennifer's podcast episode, I encourage you to do so. Not right now. You need to finish watching this. But go back, watch that, and then come back and watch this again, because I'm sure, like I said, it's going to be fire. So let me just refresh your memory a little bit about who she is. She's the visionary force behind Conscious Business Answers. Her mission is to assist spiritual, heart-led entrepreneurs in marrying their connection to the universe with a leadership and business growth strategy. Jennifer's journey, it began within the confines of a Fortune 100 corporation, where she concealed her authentic self, like so many of us do, to fit the corporate mold. Now she's committed to guiding leaders like you in unlocking the full potential of your business and leadership through strategy, planning, and growth that embrace your unique connection to the universe and leverage the data within your company. So, Jennifer, girl, let's just pick up, follow our flow like we did in the podcast, and really just start off with, just a truth conversation. How have you risen from the ashes?
Yeah.
Girl, and I know that's a mouthful. That's a huge question.
And it's just like you said, like this, it's not a story that I share all the time.
Yeah.
But after I kind of flamed out in a Fortune 100, I decided to start my own business. And this was 2007-ish. So, but the sum total of what I knew about an online business and running my own business was pretty much zero.
Yeah.
So I get on and I think I'm going to go set the world on fire as a coach. And, at the time, I'm like, I'll just be a life coach like everybody else.
Yeah.
Girl, it was like, I think 3 years I spent, and my total gross was about $10,000.
Yeah, I feel you.
For 3 years.
Yeah, I feel you.
And, like you, I'm sure I've always been good at everything. So how can this not be working for me? Like, what is the malfunction? And I'm online taking all these courses, learning how to do social media, learning how to do some marketing, learning this, learning that, and the other thing. And it was, by the time I finally figured out that I needed a quote real job or somebody else paying the bills for a little while, I had this huge packet of learning at my beck and call. But I also had this self-confidence of, I was going to say a mouse, but mice are pretty, they're on it. So maybe, I had enough. Right. Yeah, it was bad. It was not good. So it's a fascinating thing when you are a teenager and you're taught to be very independent and talk to take care of yourself, and then you go through a space like that, how do you come, like, what comes next? Like, do you hold on to the lack of self-doubt? Do you find the wherewithal to pick yourself up? I got really, really lucky. I was very blessed, and a good friend was in a course with one of the big personal development people in the country, online marketer people. And she gets a hold of me and she says, look, they're looking for an ops manager for this multi-million-dollar program that they run. And, you know, my first thought was, well, I could absolutely run the program. Like, that is my wheelhouse because I'm a project manager by trade. And then I'm like, I could do that, but they want you to move out to the West Coast and they want all these things. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm an East Coast girl, born and bred, not moving, not going. But, you know, she was like, you're dumb. Like, I love this woman because she's very honest with me. She's like, out of your head, like you could do this job. So, you know, I reached out to her, and here is this big, giant, forceful, confident personality on the other side of the screen. And sure, I know I could do the job, but my self-confidence is still just like in. So it was fascinating. It was really one of those moments where I just had to let my soul speak and slip down into my intuition and completely out of my head, like completely out of my head. And things came out of my mouth. You know, those moments when you're like, where did that come from?
It's that soul speak. I love that you use that word. That term.
It is. It was absolutely the soul piece. And you know, I went to work for her, and the only way to really work successfully with a great big personality like that, and I'm sure you know this, is to step into it. You know, to just meet it where it is. Otherwise, you end up giving yourself away and all the things that none of us want to do. So I was very, very fortunate to be handed something by the universe that forced me to step back into myself. If I had not done that, they would have chewed me up and spit me out in about 3 weeks, guaranteed. But really, it was that process of the universe saying, look, you either need to decide right now, are you going to sink or are you going to swim? Are you going to step into who you are, who you can be the leader you can be, take everything that life has thrown you in the last 4 years that make you feel like a dumpster fire, and say, you know what? Sure, I might have been a dumpster fire, but now I'm the phoenix.
I love it, girl. You know what? That deserved a mic drop.
So that really was the thing. And, you know, at the same time that I give the universe like all this credit for putting that in front of me, because really it did, it's stepping into your humanity to acknowledge that this is where I need to be and this is what I step into. And all of these human things that have happened for a reason. And if I get really honest about those 3 years, there was incredible growth. I mean, 100%, I would not have gotten that job except for all the training, all the mistakes, all the things that I did in those 3 years that I could then, you know, turn around and package and go, oh, of course, I would do that this way. And I sounded brilliant only because I learned the hard way.
But that's how we learned how to sound. That's how we can then sound brilliant, right? And be brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, girl, I love that. And just the fact also that, you know, that the name that spoke into your soul was conscious business answers. That conscious piece is so important. I mean, you just said a mouthful there. I'm trying to decide what string to pull, so give it to me. Spirit lead. Uh, even going back to just not knowing how to pivot, even when you were younger or what have you, or just at any point in life, because we're not taught that. We're not taught that by, God love them, our well-meaning parents. We're not taught that in education settings. If you're in sports or some sort, there's that competition mindset, which can be unhealthy. You're kind of taught some strategy there or what have you, but we don't process that to life and living it, and walking it out, and when that moment happens and we hit that wall, we're like, whoa, what was that? Or sometimes we don't even, like, we miss the whole sign, the warning sign, just walk straight through.
Oh, I know this about myself.
Yeah.
If I don't pay attention, it will take a 2x4 to
girl,
like stop
18-wheeler for me.
Yeah, and like get me to pivot. But that is truly, that's the biggest thing. I think when we're young, the model our parents, even if they're not modeling it, what they share with us out of total well-meaning is that actually a pivot or significantly shift like that means that you failed at something.
That, girl, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
talk about it. Yeah.
You take that failure and you attach shame to it.
Yes.
And now you're, I'm Gen X. So we were very much, girl, you have got to take care of yourself because nobody else will, right? Corporations were starting to cut things like less money in 401ks and like all those things they were starting to cut back on. So, my dad was very much like, you have got to take care of yourself. Do not rely on anybody else.
Right. Same. Yeah.
Right. So you fail at something, you have to pivot, but you are holding this basket of shame and fear and failure and
guilt, and then
guilt.
Yes. You get those layers of condemnation and all of that.
Yep. All the things everybody's done for you. And now you're holding all this guilt. And, I think I don't think it's always a conscious conversation. I think it's unconscious, but I think I kind of got to that point where I was like, well, what are the options here?
Yeah.
Like I can continue to fail. And then quite literally, do I end up living in a shoebox on the side of the street? Which I don't think sounds like a good time. God bless anybody that's there, and but it just, you have to find something from that space to not be self-destructive. And I think I'm too much of a sissy to do a lot of those self-destructive things. My idea of self-destructive is a pint of Ben and Jerry's, okay? Because those are scary. But still, that's like, it's interesting how like that fear of what could be is a motivator, but it's how do you take that fear? What do you turn it into? Do you turn it into something that can be positive and you can grow from, or do you turn it into something that destroys your relationships, that destroys your well-being, your mental health? And
I did all that first until I learned how to embrace it.
I mean, when I think back to, my 20s and 30s and all of the things I was doing when I was in college, and when I moved from Pennsylvania to Columbia, South Carolina, sight unseen, because I wanted to get away from a divorce, and the things I did, I'm like, oh, where was your brain? But that's where my brain was in fear, and I was living just from a place of how do I get by and not destroy myself? Survival. 100% survival.
Totally. No, and we don't realize how much our subconscious drives us. The subconscious, it's the majority, it's the protector. And, it's so much, I mean, all of life goes into it, and it's constantly running the show until we have that conscious moment, when that intuition that's been trying to speak to us from our soul through spirits, like finally comes conscious. And then you have that crossroads moment, like you were saying, where you were like, okay, well, this is that. And I love to, I love, because even like when I'm in my Power Your Soul pivot coachings or what have you, I do a crossroads pulse check. And it's so powerful, right? Because again, it's not something that we do in life, and even when it happens to us, we don't really process it as such, and it's just, again, that survival thing. Okay, what can we do? What are our skill sets? What are our possibilities? But then we don't even see it as possibilities in a positive way.
Right.
Which is what I love to do, through the podcast and on this show, just the possibilities, open people's mindset up to that all things truly are possible, and if we are literally co-creators, with God, with the divine, it's like embracing fear is an easier thing to do, as opposed to letting it drive us, and literally running us off the cliff. And so, yeah, no, girl, so I feel you on that. Been there, done that. And it's like just these decisions we make, they're like split gut reactions or what have you, and it's survival and just kind of like running from our truths or that sort of thing. Girl, so that's real, girl, that is real talk.
Well, and you get into the whole risk reward thing, right? And even after you get past the worst of your stuff, you still, and like you, sitting in a business chair making a decision about an opportunity that's in front of us. Does it feel like a risk? Quite possibly. And what is the reward side of that risk? What's the downside if we fail? And sometimes that downside can feel so much bigger.
Yes.
Until you start to pull apart, well, even if I fail, perceptively fail, what are the things I'm going to learn from this? And how can I swing it so that in my heart, in my mind, to my unconscious, it truly feels like a success of some kind. Because that's what we need to do, is reprogram ourselves. Totally. Right? But you can't do it when you're sitting in fear and in survival. And I guess you can. I couldn't. Maybe somebody else can. If they can, they need to let me know how.
Well, I think if they can, if you can, it's not a sustainable shift, right? Because it's not from a place of addressing, calling out, revealing those hurts, those soul hurts that need healing. It's just a reactionary response, instead of us, just different points throughout life or whatever, being proactive, which I'm doing a lot more now, much more self-aware, keeping my peace, girl. I'm telling you, when you get to this place where you could just be, oh my gosh, that's where we're supposed to, that's where we need to be. That's where we're meant to be. But anyway, I digress. We might come back to that.
I think that is like, that is the key to all of this, right? Is that we are supposed to be self-aware. We are supposed to be in a space of peace and joy that allows us to stop and just be, and to consider and process. And the way the world is going right now, there's so much trying to push you constantly out of that space.
And it's real, girl. No, I totally agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
It's so much pushing us out of that space. So, and I think that's why this is a time of such a great awakening of people
Hmm.
turning inward,
Hmm.
looking inward,
Hmm.
because they're trying to make sense of all that's going out in the world. And like your critical thinking is it's yeah, what you're seeing, I mean, there's so much dissonance that people are
Hmm.
looking for resonance, and the only way they can find it is by turning inward, I think,
Hmm.
and starting with themselves. Looking at what do I believe? I mean, what do I believe? Why do I believe it? Where does it come from? Waking up to their own hurts and pains and programming and this sort of thing. And so it's interesting how it's the yin and yang that literally just popped in
Yes.
my head.
Yes.
It's the
Hmm.
dark and the light, right? It's
Hmm.
finding the resonance through the dissonance and
Hmm.
and the push and pull of that. Um, yeah. So we live in fascinating times, but for those of us who are finding and keeping our peace and our joy in the midst, regardless of these
Hmm.
constructs and what's happening, you know, finding and keeping our humanity is at the center of that, in just being able to give ourselves grace and other people, because what
Hmm. Hmm.
we can or can't do for ourselves, that gets extended to the next person,
Oh,
and yeah.
that I think the humanity piece, you're right, is so,
Mhm.
yeah. And I've actually been thinking about that a lot,
Mhm.
because of some things that are some illness in my family. There's
Mhm.
the So because I'm very spiritual, there is
Mhm.
in the spiritual community this
Mhm.
sense that you can rise above all of that
Mhm.
and be in this space that isn't as impacted by it,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
guess is the way I want to say it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that is a level of spiritual bypassing and eliminating or ignoring your
Mm.
humanity.
Yeah.
The very reason that your soul is here, in
Right.
my mind, is
Mhm.
to be
Mine too.
human, right?
Exactly.
To feel the
Otherwise, why would we be
things,
here? Right.
right? Why
Totally.
would we be here?
Yeah.
So to feel the things, to be the things. So I,
Yeah.
I keep looking at the phoenix that's behind you and
Yes.
thinking that for everybody who
Mhm.
sees you in the upper half of
Yeah.
that phoenix, who sees you looking beautiful,
Yeah.
feeling good, at
Yeah.
peace in that
Yeah.
moment, there is a level of churn that's going on, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that level of churn. There
Right. Yeah.
is accepting it, realizing what it is, saying
Mhm.
this is where my humanity comes from. This is indeed
Yeah.
what breeds
Right.
compassion,
Yes.
right? It
Yes.
breeds
Mhm.
care for other people.
Mhm.
It breeds hope,
Yeah.
and it breeds joy. And
Yeah.
if we disavow that or disallow it or
Mhm.
feel like we have to be risen above it all the time,
Right.
we do lose our humanity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Girl, look, all of that. I agree with all of that. Like, my husband designed this beautiful, I don't know if you guys can see it, but
Yeah, it's
just like
gorgeous.
the ashes, or the smoke. We need all of it. We need the smoke. We need
Yes.
the ashes. We need the smoke. We need the fire because again, it through our pain comes purpose, right? And like you said
Mhm.
so beautifully, otherwise, why would our souls be here, right? Our souls are divine. They don't need to be here. They be up in heaven, right?
Right.
you know, but it's the experience, right? It's the human experiment. Can we work in community? Can we get along? Can we love each other apart from the color of our skin or, our sexuality or whatever,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
can we be human? what does that mean? What is that? We throw that word around so easily.
Yeah.
We're all the same. A soul doesn't have color. A soul doesn't have, other than here on earth, has a body, right now.
Right.
But this is why we can connect, like you and I can connect, right? We've had very same and similar experiences.
Yeah.
We have very different backgrounds. We're from different races, ethnicities, according to the constructs of this world.
Right.
Right. But literally you say things growing up, I'm like, dang, is she all in my head or speaking my mouth? We're soul sisters. We're connected.
Yep.
Right. And this is why also, it's like when we meet someone, we don't even have to know them but a second, but we feel that attraction. Like it's like our souls, we knew each other up in heaven or something. You know what I'm saying? Or like our purposes are aligned. It's a divine appointment. It's a reason, and so this is that awareness that I'm hoping that this awakening and trusting that this awakening and people will start to just see and understand and just really deal with the hurts, reconcile those hurts, have these revelations, reconcile these hurts so that we can all step in our renaissance together, in our newness and have this revival and be in this new blissful place. Now, I'm a bit of a, utopian in my thinking or what have you, but I know we still have to have, and we're always going to have that battle between dark and light. But when we realize and understand that the light will always win, there is no place that you can go where there is darkness and you introduce light that you will not see the light.
It's interesting that you said the word renaissance because there's like talk about people are shifting into a higher consciousness and there's higher awareness. The other thing that I think that comes up so often for me is this, and it is kind of the idyllic presentation that you talk about, is that, well, once we've all shifted, there will be no more conflict. But no, there's still black and white. There's always going to be black and white. So what is then, what does conflict look like then? It no longer looks like, hopefully, bombing and all the things the military is for, but a seeking to understand between one another. We can still disagree. I mean, that is what, innovation and creation and all those things are built on.
Right.
Disagreement or misunderstandings of things, but how can we come together and find the roots that we agree on? And then you do start to see color, race, religion, all of that is no longer relevant. The humanity is relevant and the shared desires are relevant.
Yeah. Oh, so good, girl. Look, you just like I was in a dream world right there. Girl, I was literally, you took me there. I'm envisioning.
Oh, we're just creating it while we sit here, right?
Girl,
we are in creation.
Yes,
that is right.
Into existence. Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, so good. So good. So I'm trying to think of what else popped into my head when you just started off talking about rising from the ashes. And in some other conversations we've talked about how you have to rise from the ashes more than once, right? That is literally the concept. That's the thought behind the phoenix, right?
Right.
And so, just the whole mindset that or thought of, if you don't achieve a certain result, you've failed. In life, just that whole programming that's so destructive, and literally causes people to remove themselves from here, and it breaks my heart, that this still is just such a big thing. It's a box that we put people in. Okay, you succeed, you fail. Well, I mean, what is the definition of success, right? It's relevant to what you choose, what you agree, and what is normal, that whole conversation, so all of these things that we don't think about because we're too busy just kind of, being in, that on that hamster wheel or, just in these cycles of insanity or whatever, or just, accepted our place as being cogs in a wheel. Now, even if okay, say your sole contract had nothing to do with being a business owner or what have you, but if you're feeling your soul being snuffed out, there's something wrong there. It's like we ignore that feeling all the time in the workplace, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we just stick with something because if we feel like we leave, then oh, we failed, or oh, what are people gonna think, or whatever. How am I going to survive? Well, I mean, I would deem to say, oh, if you stay there, you might not. Because,
Right.
Girl, literally, my final exit from the workplace, my whole body broke down. I was overseas in foreign service, and literally I got up from a desk, middle of COVID. I was there early morning by myself, like night to morning. And I got up and literally I was, putting in like, I don't know, 14 plus hour days. It was insane. And tried to stand up, and literally if I didn't have strength in my arms, I would have hit the floor and I might have knocked myself out because those corners of the desk were super sharp. We were at a host nation, so it wasn't about occupational health and safety. But anyway, that was a wake up call. Like that was I was in my like mid to late 40s, was starting and going into my late 40s at that point. What? What is really going on? And so I think sometimes, particularly for us, type A personalities, folks who have just this tolerance for high stress and all of that, we don't realize what's happening in our body, right? We're so disconnected from I would say our mind, our body, and our soul that literally we have to have that wake up call, or otherwise, we wouldn't be here, because people don't understand stress kills. Stress is at the root of practically every disease. They don't tell us that because, again, it's constructs and money, right? But once you understand that and how important it is that you do live and find find your soul purpose, it's everything. I mean, literally, when I made the decision, when I finally chose me, because I'm fiercely loyal, girl, I carry the cross for everybody, right? And literally I just had to, realize, I had to drop, savior complexes and all of that stuff that wasn't for me to carry, and was not meaning me any good, and was literally really just a trick of just those dark shadows and what have you, and forces. So yeah, it's girl, fascinating world we live in.
It is a fascinating world. And when we look at our soul purpose and how we're living it, I think, one of the other things that we come up against is it has to be like all or none. Yes. Especially us, right? A personalities, the whole, like, we can take it, we got it, but that's not actually reality, right? Nope. So, if you have like the job that it's not killing you, that you enjoy, and your soul is still tugging at you, I mean, that's what volunteer opportunities are for.
So good.
That's what, walks are for. That's what online learning about, I don't know, herbs or alchemical medicine or whatever it is. I think that's the other thing that happens is we get this, you're either 100% in on one thing or you're just not.
Yeah.
And that's not the case at all. Like
so good.
We have different facets of our soul, right? And your soul might be calling you to be a leader and calling you to serve animals.
Yeah.
And if you can't serve them all, both of those things in the same bucket, that's okay. That's okay. It's not a failure. It's okay to use 2 or 3 different venues to
Yes.
satisfy your soul because, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
even if you just think you're volunteering at the shelter, those
Mm-hmm.
leadership qualities are sticking
All
out
of that.
and
Mm-hmm.
impacting people there that you don't
Yes.
even know. It
Yes.
is incredible.
I love, Jennifer, that you brought that up because I don't think any of us have brought it up in this season to talk about just the skill sets and the fulfillment and
Mm,
just all of that volunteering gives. You know,
mhm,
we talk
mhm.
about, because my husband and I within our movement, we talk about just serving as opposed to selling, on
Yeah,
people and
yep.
relationship building as opposed to transactional and all of that. But that applies even in volunteering and giving of your time and
Mhm,
just finding those things that breathe life back into your soul.
mhm.
And so I love that you brought that up. Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, you are touching and blessing lives you don't even realize, and people are watching you and looking at you and learning from you or feeling connected to you or whatever. Just your presence can be
Mhm,
healing,
mhm.
in ways that you just never thought or imagined or even was being intentional about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. That message was
Hmm.
so brought home to me about 4 or 5 years ago now.
Hmm.
I lived in a community and I was very lucky in that there were a lot of single people within the community, but every Friday night, we'd all get together, we'd hang around the fire pit, we'd just chat.
Hmm.
And the age ranges were from, the lower 30s to 60s, this
Yeah,
huge age range.
yeah.
And during that time, I had just turned 50 and I was learning to ride a motorcycle.
Mm.
And, I was
I heard
falling
that.
and it was not pretty.
Yeah.
But 4 years later, I had left the community, a girl reaches out to me randomly and is like, "Do you remember me? We were at this community." I'm like, "Yeah."
Hmm.
She's like, "I watched you learn to ride a motorcycle." And
Hmm.
she was about 31. She's like, "And you were old."
Hmm.
So in her mind, I was old.
Yeah.
Um, she's like, "But you had such joy
Yes.
in that process." She's like, "I
Mm.
want to learn how to ride now." She's like,
Yeah.
"Where did you go? What did you do?" And
Yeah.
she was not on my radar, like at all.
Yeah.
She wasn't even somebody that I regularly spoke to.
Yeah.
So never discount the impact that you are
Never.
having on those around you, positive or negative.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
is it is much bigger than you think.
It's so much bigger. Oh, girl, so much bigger. And it's powerful. You don't know
Mhm.
how you're potentially helping identify or heal a hurt, a soul
Yes.
hurt that they have, or
Mhm.
helping them embrace their fears. Like this is a perfect example of that.
Mhm.
She saw
Mhm.
you do something and overcome, and so then that woke something in her. And yeah, no, that's girl, that's so beautiful. Yeah, and I'm just thinking about like countless times I've had people come back and say, "Oh yeah, I remember you from high school," or I remember you doing XYZ. Girl, look, and in my mind, I completely forgot that
Mhm.
situation or that circumstance or that happening until they brought it up. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, oh wow. It's that remembering
Mhm.
that of course life happening and hurts or just living it or what have you. Everything compounds and then you tend to forget things, but no, you just don't know how you impact people and the life that you give
And
them.
I think we forget how powerful we are. And
Mm-hmm.
this is, even if you feel like you have no power, the very uh, aspect of how you go through your day
Yeah.
may be empowering somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like you said, I look back now at that coaching
Mm-hmm.
period that went so horribly.
Yeah.
And yet there were people that were buying what I was laying out because they're
Yeah.
like, "You do have something that can
Yes.
benefit me."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel like that at the time as much as I was trying to, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's power in so much that we do. And it's not,
Yeah.
yeah, I know you can tie a very negative perspective to power,
Mm-hmm.
but we all wield it.
Yeah.
And we all have capacity. And
Yeah.
even when you think you're not.
Absolutely. And I think it's sad when people uh, don't know that they have that power, right? The power to
Mm-hmm.
do good. And it's the
Mm-hmm.
simplest thing. You can come across a homeless person on the street and you buy them something to eat. That's power.
Yes.
That's good
Yes.
power. That's
Yes.
goodness to
Mm-hmm.
impact and affect someone's life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that negative power is that fear-driven power, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny to me when you think about it because those folks who consider themselves powerful or it's the fear-driven power, they think they're embracing fear in a positive way. They don't even acknowledge fear, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's the fear of scarcity, it's the fear of lack, it's the fear of control, it's the fear, all of these
Yeah.
things that's driving that negative, dark energy.
Mm-hmm.
And but again, because the subconscious protects us, the thought or the mind is that, oh, this is a good thing. I got to keep compiling. I have to keep, you know, at the
Mm-hmm.
expense of everyone else in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I love what you said about that and bringing that out. I mean, power, again, everything, there's a yin and a yang to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about perspective. Perspective is everything, girl.
Yes.
Perspective is everything. I mean, you can live in a fantasy world, or I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can live in reality, and everybody's reality based on their experiences and what
Yeah.
have you
Mm-hmm.
is different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when you have those perspective shifts, in toward the healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Toward the clear, toward and really, for me, it's soul led, right? If my soul doesn't feel right about something now, mm, I'm
Mm-hmm.
listening.
Mm-hmm.
Within my mind, right? Because I'm recovering people pleaser, recovering, just needing to belong or whatever, or whatever the case may be. All of that, starts rearing its head. It's like, oh, I see an opportunity, I see an opening, I see a crack. Can I get my foot in there?
Yes. Yes.
But it's and then like, but my soul is strong enough now, right? It knows the assignment,
Mm-hmm.
it understands the contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
It understands my design and who I am. So it's easier now to just stand in that space,
Mm-hmm.
and remember, to just kind of strengthen and fortify me and remind me, will your power for good.
Yes. Yeah.
Give people grace.
But I think
Agree to disagree.
you said something that I think is really powerful, and that is
Mhm.
if what you're doing comes with the addendum or the context of at the expense of someone else.
Yes, that.
That's that right there should be, if you can add that to whatever you're doing, that should
Yeah,
be hopefully at some point
yeah,
enough to make you stop and
yes,
actually ask, well, where is this coming from? If
right.
and not there are absolutely some instances where you cannot get that perfect outcome
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
context is context,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And at times there are just things that happen where it is at the expense of everybody,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
But make it a conscious decision
yeah.
so that you can mitigate as much as you can mitigate,
Right. Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good, so good. I mean, that should absolutely be a red flag, at the very least, an orange flag.
Right, right,
A
right. That's
line
means
in the
like the
sand.
what the referee's going, this is a yellow
Right,
card.
right, right. Yellow at the very least,
Right,
possibly
yeah.
a red.
Oh, that's right. Red cards. They have red cards too. Not a big soccer person.
Yeah. Girl, like, since I've been married, my husband, girl, I'm spun up like I'm an expert now. no, girl, so good, so good. So what else is what else is in our soul to talk about so we can
Mm,
make sure we're complete?
yeah.
Because I
I
tell you,
just
I don't even know where this 60 minutes goes. It goes so fast, you know.
But I think these are like the most amazing conversations because it's like you said, you start to follow the little strings. And
Yeah,
then, it's the things that one person says that can be built on by another person. And it is that where are the common threads? Where are the
yeah,
understandings? Where are, like you said, where are our soul connection points
yeah,
that
yeah,
just
totally.
it takes just a conversation to a whole different level,
It
right?
does. It really does. You know, and it's an exercise also in listening. You know,
Yes.
it's an exercise in understanding someone else's
Mhm.
point of view. It's an exercise. Now, girl,
Mhm.
now when I had this, this idea, I wasn't thinking about all this, but as it's evolved and I'm having these conversations and meeting people all over the world, I'm realizing it's even an exercise in embracing fears, right?
Mhm.
And really taking you to a whole nother level. It's literally a mini soul journey that we're having, right? Of revelations, reconciliations, and renaissance, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, and I hope and pray, and audience, you guys listening, dropping comments, are you having that experience with us?
Yeah. Yep.
Let us know we're not off here.
Yeah, if it's just us, that's going to be a little
Yeah. Yeah, but and it's not just us because I've
right.
had other guests, say
Yeah.
the same thing or in like our afterglows and what have you, and
Mhm. Mhm.
and it's just really it's food for the soul, right? It's just it's important to just keep our connection, keep that flame burning, right? And sometimes when we even come to these conversations, the flame is low, it might some folks might even be on embers, right? And like and hey, well, let's fan this. Let's get this going again.
Right,
Do we need to
right.
put some wood on? What do we need to do here?
That is
Hmm.
that, like you said, that is the beauty of, having a conversation with somebody that is
Yeah,
a soul sister or
yeah,
even a
hmm,
sister, whatever it might be.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
when your coals are low, your coals are
yeah,
just low. They're not gone. They're not
yeah,
gone.
yes.
They just need a little blowing, a little somebody
Hmm.
to help move them around and scatter
Yeah,
them a little bit, and
totally.
amazing things can happen again.
Absolutely, girl. And that just girl, you just awoke something that was in my mind earlier. So, and it's all about, so when I'm working with my folks, in my guided experiences, I work elementally, I work spiritually, I work faithfully, right?
Hmm.
So I believe it's all a part of the divine, right? God gave it to us all, and for various reasons
Hmm.
or to meet us where we are, right? Touch points.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love that you said that triggered the thought that we need to understand that literally, like going back to that good power conversation, we are literally made up of the same elements of this universe, of the world, right? This is
Hmm.
why, I teach folks we are co-creators with God. We are powerful, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so understanding and realizing that I'm telling you, when I had like those ahas, those revelations on that too, talk about embracing some fears or kicking some fears out the door and like, you know what, you stay way back there. It helps, it empowers you,
Hmm.
in that positive way, so that you can come to those crossroads or what have you, like, okay, which way are we going? Which way is the path that I should,
Hmm.
follow? But yeah, when we realize that literally, I had this conversation with one of my students the other day. Think about like the majority of our body, we're made up of water. What is the largest element on the earth? Water. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Uh-huh.
there is no happenstance. There,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's when we understand, even you think about the function and the flow and the physicality, all of that of
Hmm.
water also in the power in water alone.
Yeah.
And you realize, you look inside and you equate that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I mean, that thought alone, and it's no wonder why, because I'm a water baby. I love water, as water side in it, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I have that other side, that fire side, right? And then everything
Mm-hmm.
in between. And so when you understand that and when you learn how that equates to the human experience and how
Yeah.
to function in that, how to
Mm-hmm.
turn that up, how to turn it down,
Mm-hmm.
how to just follow your flow or just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Girl,
Yeah.
it's a
It's
whole nother level, whole nother realm. Yeah.
it is because water and fire are both can be devastating.
Yes.
And on the back end, they create in ways
Yes.
that are absolutely incredible. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Create,
yes.
sustain life, all of that.
Yes,
It's
girl.
so powerful,
It is.
and you
Mhm.
think about just the air and
Yeah.
space, right? The ether and
Hmm.
and the grounding. It's girl, I'm telling you, I love seeing just like the ahas and the exploded minds. When I'm working folks and we start talking about them and really start
Hmm.
digging into it and kind of
Hmm.
yeah and just and understanding and unveiling our truths,
Yeah.
because in addition to identifying those hurts and going, it helps with that healing process also and just the empowerment so that you can stand in that newness, and in that renaissance. So, girl, I just wish more people would just become conscious, right? Consciously aware of
Hmm.
self and humanity,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know?
I think I think underlying for a lot of us that serve, like you,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
there is that desire to just help humanity
Hmm.
become more conscious and more
Yes.
aware, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I do social. I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of social for I think all the reasons it was created.
I agree. We're on the same page.
But
Yeah.
for the potential that it holds to
Yes.
help all of us
Yes.
step up and step into.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So important. It's so important. And girl, wait, we will not be complete in this conversation if we don't address that social thing. I mean, I just felt that after when you said it. So, so I know I'm trying to pump some brakes here and trying to wrap, but that social thing is so important because people have lost their humanity,
Yes.
and just that competition is winning as a result of
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
and just the those dark seeds are being planted, and you see like light trying to be planted, and just that whole, but people need to understand and realize and think about, why does it exist? How
Hmm.
should we be using it? If something doesn't resonate with your soul, that is life-giving, that's humane or what have you. There has obviously been some desensitization that has happened. There
Yes.
is there is obviously some hurts that need healing.
Hmm.
And I know sometimes when people are in those places and spaces, they don't even realize it. So then it becomes incumbent upon those who are in their circles or folks who have the ability to lovingly, extend grace, but you know,
Hmm.
give them that post check that might be
Yeah.
needed, and it's allowed us also to isolate. While it's connecting, it isolates. Again, just that
It does.
duality,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it allows people to hide behind it as opposed to being accountable, being responsible, that sort of thing, girl. So, girl, that was a can of worms. So, we're gonna need a whole another kind of
Yeah,
conversation
that
for
we'll
that.
need a whole nother hour there.
But yeah, I mean, I just needed to put that out there, and girl, I'm so
Yes.
grateful for you being here, for joining me, having this candid conversation. And I do want to make sure you have any closing words that you want to have so that you feel complete. And yeah.
No, I am so grateful for um, platforms like this, for opportunities like this, where we
Yeah.
can share and have these kind of conversations that open up, other people's minds, that open up our minds, that
Yes.
shifts in conversation, how we feel and how we think about things. It
Mm-hmm.
is, it is incredible when you have someone like yourself who's willing to uh, man the controls, or woman the
Oh,
controls,
bless you. Thank you.
and guide those
Man, that shit.
conversations. So appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, girl, bless you. Thank you for saying, for just giving that love. And I received that. That was one of them hurts I had, where I couldn't receive compliments or
Mm-hmm.
encouragement or be affirmed or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate you saying that. And audience, I want you to be sure to leave your thoughts, your feelings, your ahas, your perspective shifts, all of that in comments. Show Jennifer some love. Reach out to Jennifer Conaway, and all her information will be in our show notes. Reach out to her, plug in to learn what she's doing at Conscious Business Answers. She's a phenomenal person, human being, and I know you will be blessed for connecting with her and just for anything that she pours into you in the space that she will hold for you. So don't forget to like and share this episode, because I know there are people who needed to hear this episode, who need to hear it. So share it. So please subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, and we would be super grateful. Yes, so subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Defining Paths Online. Set those notifications by clicking that little cute bell so you don't miss any life-giving episodes. And Jennifer, I'm just super happy to have you here. I want to, because we had a lot of truth talk. And so I just want to leave our faithful with this. Remember, the truth will set you free, right? The truth will set you free.
Mm-hmm.
Your call to action is to think without the box. Unplug from the matrix and all that socio-cultural whatever programming that's holding you back and snuffing out your soul.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel something just taking the breath of life out of you, you feel a pain, that's your soul trying to call you. It's trying to get your attention. So, my personal testimony, you guys have heard it before, but conditioning, worldly demands had me in a mindless spiral, unable to remove those masks that I wore as false protection, in a state of denial and unable to heal because I was hiding from my truths. How did I break free? I had that candid conversation with my soul and finally chose me, right? Chose to honor that contract that I made up in heaven. So that's when I was able to pivot, heal, rebuild, pursue my soul's purpose. And you just heard Jennifer give the same testimony in a different way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with faith as my foundation and conscious intuition as my guide, I was able to become the captain of my fate and master of my soul. So, Jennifer, I appreciate that compliment. I will stay at the helm. I will keep us on course of having these truth telling, these flowing candid conversations. So, folks, what is a candid conversation erupting in your soul? Feel free to drop it in comments if you can face that fear. Is it time to pivot and define your own path? We're here to help. We're here for you. Reach out to Jennifer at Conscious Business Answers. Reach out to us. I would love to have a discovery with you through Power Your Soul Pivot. However, we can be of help to you and build your success on a firm foundation. Mm-hmm. That's why we're here. That's what we do. That's how we serve. So reach out. So once again, I'm DocV, the Pivot Maestro for your mind, body, soul, and business. Please like, subscribe, share, and set those notifications. And be sure to be true to you and define your path. We'll see you on the next episode. Jennifer, so good to see you, girl. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.